27, 2026, 70,000 people packed into Nissan Stadium in Nashville, Tennessee. They had come for one reason, to say goodbye to a man who had given 40 years of his life to country music. They came despite a severe weather delay that cleared the stands for an hour. They stood in the Nashville heat. They waited. And when Alan Jackson finally walked out onto that stage, in that white cowboy hat that has been his signature for 4 decades, 70,000 people made enough noise to shake the building. 2 hours later, after the last firework from the closing performance of Chattahoochee had faded into the Nashville sky, Alan Jackson stood at the microphone one final time. And he looked at the crowd, and he said, "If anyone has lived the American dream, it's me," fighting back tears, joking that all the tributes made it feel like a funeral where he was up in heaven watching people sing my songs. Then laughing, then reminding everyone, in classic Alan Jackson fashion, to simply have a good time. He has Charcot-Marie tooth disease, a progressive neurological disorder that has been stealing his balance and his strength for years. He first noticed it affecting his performance in 2011. He told the world about it in 2021. And from the moment he did, he spent every remaining show giving everything he had left. This is the Alan Jackson story, and it deserves to be told fully, and with the respect it has earned. Alan Eugene Jackson was born on October 17, 1958, in Newnan, Georgia, a small town south of Atlanta, where the pace of life moved slowly, and the values that would define his entire career were formed before he ever picked up a guitar. He was the youngest of 5 children and the only son of Joseph Daddy Gene Jackson, a mechanic at the Ford Motor Company assembly plant, and Ruth Mama Ruth Jackson. The family home was built literally around his grandfather's old tool shed, a detail so perfectly on brand for a man who would spend his career singing about humble roots that it almost sounds invented. It wasn't. He later immortalized it in song. He grew up on gospel music in church. He didn't discover country until a friend played him the records of Hank Williams Jr., Gene Watson, and John Anderson in his early teens. His parents bought him a $50 guitar at 16. At 17, he performed publicly for the first time in a high school production of Oklahoma. He graduated from Newnan High School in 1976. He worked construction. He operated a forklift. He sold cars. He sold shoes. He played clubs across Georgia with a band called Dixie Steel. He married his high school sweetheart Denise on December 15, 1979. He was 21 years old. She was the love of his life. She still is. In 1985, Denise was working as a flight attendant and happened to encounter country star Glenn Campbell at an airport. She mentioned her husband, the man back in Georgia writing country songs and dreaming about Nashville. Campbell listened to Alan's demo tape and helped connect him to the industry he had been trying to reach from the outside. In 1985, Alan and Denise Jackson moved to Nashville. He was 27 years old. He worked in the mailroom at the Nashville network while writing songs and trying to get anyone to listen. It took 4 years. In 1989, he became the first artist signed to the country division of the newly formed Arista Nashville label. And in 1990, he released Here in the Real World. What Alan Jackson did in the 1990s is not simply impressive by country music standards. It is impressive by any standard in any genre at any point in the history of popular music. The 1990s were, for country music, a complicated era. The urban cowboy pop crossover sound of the 1980s had diluted the genre's roots. A new generation of artists, Garth Brooks, Randy Travis, Clint Black, and Alan Jackson, were pushing back. They wanted fiddles and steel guitar. They wanted songs about real life rather than polished radio-friendly compromise. Jackson was the purest expression of that instinct. His debut album Here in the Real World went platinum in 1990. Don't Rock the Jukebox in 1991 spawned 5 #1 singles. A Lot About Livin' and A Little About Love in 1992, 5 more #1 singles, including Chattahoochee, which became the best-selling country single of 1993 and won 2 Grammy Awards for Best Country Song and Best Male Country Vocal Performance. Chattahoochee is a song about summer and youth and the Chattahoochee River and the specific kind of freedom that exists only before adult life fully arrives. The music video featured Jackson water skiing in ripped jeans and a cowboy hat, tubing down a river with a guitar. It was perfect. It remains one of the most beloved country music videos ever made. He won CMA Entertainer of the Year in 1995, 2002, and 2003. He won 17 ACT Awards. He won 16 CMA Awards. He won 2 Grammys. He scored 35 #1 country singles across his career. He sold over 75 million records worldwide, and through all of it, he remained exactly who he was when he was working the forklift in Georgia. He once said he was just a guy who sings and hoped he was keeping traditional country music alive for the next generation. He was not being modest, he meant it. In October 2001, 6 weeks after the September 11th terrorist attacks, Alan Jackson performed a song he had written by himself, alone, late at night, trying to process something he genuinely did not know how to process. Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning is not a political song. It makes no claims about who was responsible or what the response should be. It is a song about ordinary people, watching something incomprehensible on television, not knowing what to say or do. It asks simple questions. It ends in a place of faith. He performed it at the CMA Awards that October, to a standing ovation that lasted several minutes. The room, packed with Nashville's most famous musicians, people who make their living at public emotion, was visibly, genuinely moved. The song went to #1 on the Billboard Hot Country Songs chart and the Billboard Hot 100 simultaneously. It won the CMA Award for Song of the Year. It became, for many people, the definitive musical statement of that specific national moment, not because of political vision or rhetorical sophistication, but because it said what most people were actually feeling and couldn't find the words for. That is what Alan Jackson has always done. He has found the words. Charcot-Marie Tooth disease is one of the most common inherited neurological disorders. It is named for the 3 neurologists who first described it in 1886. It affects the peripheral nerves, the ones that carry signals between the brain and the rest of the body. And its symptoms are progressive, muscle weakness, loss of sensation, difficulty with balance and coordination. For a man who earns his living standing on a stage and playing guitar, the implications of this diagnosis are severe. Jackson told the Today Show in September 2021, with characteristic plainness, that he had noticed it affecting his performance for years, and that it was getting more and more obvious. He said he was stumbling around on stage. He launched his farewell tour, Last Call One More for the Road, in June 2022. He played shows for 3 years across the United States and Canada, giving fans the chance to see him while he still could. The final road date was May 17, 2025 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And then, on June 27, 2026, 13 months after that last roadshow, he came to Nashville for the finale. The finale was not a tour date. It was something different. A single, enormous concert at Nissan Stadium, bringing 70,000 people together in the city that had given him everything. George Strait joined him on stage for duets of Designated Drinker and Murder on Music Row. Luke Combs was there, Miranda Lambert, Carrie Underwood, Eric Church, Keith Urban, Luke Bryan, Riley Green, Cody Johnson, John Party, Leanne Womack. Country music's past and present, all in one room, all for one man. 2 days before the concert, he released a cover of Still the One, a love song for Denise. For 50 years of marriage, she sat in the front row of Nissan Stadium watching him close out his career, and when he talked about her, she wiped away tears. The final song of his touring career was Chattahoochee, the same song that defined the summer of 1993. The song about being young and free by the river. He played it one last time in Nashville. And then the fireworks went up. Standing at the microphone after Chattahoochee, Alan Jackson looked out at 70,000 people and made a joke. He said all the tributes had made it feel like attending his own funeral, like he was up in heaven watching people sing his songs. The crowd laughed. He laughed. And then he said what he actually meant. If anyone has lived the American dream, it's me. A boy from a tool shed home in Noonan, Georgia, working a forklift, playing clubs nobody remembers, moving to Nashville at 27 with his wife and a demo tape, working in a mailroom, writing songs in his spare time, getting one chance because his wife met a country star at an airport and making everything out of it. 75 million records, 35 #1 singles, 2 Grammys, the Country Music Hall of Fame, a 5-mile stretch of Interstate 85 in his hometown, renamed the Alan Jackson Highway. He also shared that his daughter was expecting to give birth any minute that very night, which would bring his total grandchildren to 5. In the middle of his own farewell, the next generation was arriving. The concert is set to be released later in 2026 as a primetime television special on NBC and as a streaming event on Peacock. His music career is not over. He has said clearly that he is not retiring from music, only from the road. He simply cannot travel anymore. His body will not allow it. He is 67 years old. He has been fighting a progressive disease with honesty and grace since before most people knew he had it. He spent his last touring years giving the performance he was still capable of, without complaint, for the people who loved his music. Here is what I want to say about Alan Jackson. In a genre that has always valued authenticity above almost everything else, where the fastest way to lose your audience is to seem like you're pretending to be something you're not, Alan Jackson was the real thing. He was the real thing because he genuinely was what he appeared to be. A man from Georgia who loved traditional country music and never wanted to be anything other than exactly that. He didn't change his sound when the market changed. He didn't chase crossover success when it would have been financially easy to do so. He made the music he wanted to make, the way he wanted to make it, and he trusted his audience to find it. And his audience did. 75 million times over. He married his high school sweetheart 47 years ago, and she was in the front row on his final night, wiping away tears. He built an entire career on the premise that simple things, honestly expressed, are more powerful than complicated things, technically impressive. And he was right. If anyone has lived the American dream, it's me. Yes, you did, Alan. You absolutely did. Thank you for 40 years. The road is yours now. If Alan Jackson's music has meant something to you, drop your favorite song in the comments. And let's celebrate what he gave us. Take care of each other. I'll see you in the next one.